Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. I have to say I'm a little bit more than worried about the particular direction that Disney's been headed in for a while. Everything that we got for almost a decade was kind of bait and switch in some way. And while we didn't catch on early on in the Avengers, we certainly knew by the time we reached Phase 4. And after Phase 4 and Phase Dive, we ended up with, well, whatever 6 is. So far, it hasn't been very good, and now we're starting to see that same trend repeat itself in another IP brand that Disney controls, in Pixar. And most especially, it looks like we're going to get bait and switched again in Toy Story. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I'm trying to get to 50K. With your kind indulgence and help, please double check you're still subscribed to the channel. If not, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, turn on all notifications, make sure it takes, and then hit the thumbs up button. All those steps of interaction improve the chances that you'll see my videos more frequently. If you want to double those chances, YouTube actually says if you follow up one of my videos with another one of my videos and watch both all the way through, guess what? Make sure that I'm in your feed. The quality of content will improve. And if you do that with all your favorite creators, not only are you building up their channel, you're reinforcing with the algorithm for you personally that that's what you want to see. But what we may not want to see is coming out of Disney. In this story, coming to us from Trevor Denning over at That Park Place, and he writes a lot of great stuff. This, however, looks bad. Andrew Stanton admits that Toy Story 5 is all about Jessie. Is this another bait and switch for Disney? Well, unfortunately, I think it is. I've seen nothing but confirmation of this going forward, and we have to even realize and recognize that featuring Joan Cusack is not necessarily the worst thing, but they should have just called it the Jessie movie and not Toy Story 5. This was supposed to be some kind of an ensemble, getting the band back together for one last adventure, and that's not the way it looks. There also looks to be like a lot of other switching going on within this franchise that I think is going to bother some people. So, to the story, Toy Story 5 is one of the most anticipated films of summer. Fans have been with the franchise for the last 3 decades and may be looking forward to introducing their own children to Buzz Lightyear and Woody. However, in a recent interview, writer and director Andrew Stanton revealed that Toy Story 5 will focus on Jessie. Now, that comment has sparked debate online. Additionally, the film's marketing has heavily focused on Buzz and Woody, leading some fans to wonder if the beloved characters will be sidelined. Well, why? That's exactly what happens. This is the way Disney does it. They set up one thing in their marketing and they deliver something else entirely different, which is how we ended up with Captain Marvel being, well, as viewed as it was, despite the fact that it really wasn't necessary to watch before we got to Doomsday. Or Endgame, excuse me. Doomsday is miles away still. That has a chance to fail as well. But Jessie's going to definitely take center stage, and you know what? We should have seen it coming. Disney looked like they were pivoting back with Pixar and with their other properties towards a more sensible center. But this doesn't look like that. Stanton co-directed Keena Harris and producer Lindsay Collins recently sat for an interview with MovieWeb's Joe Declemeyer, who noted that Joan Cusack's Jessie is the center of Toy Story 5. He asked the trio what made her the right choice. Well, politics? Alienating your audience, irritating the people that, well, have the money that would take their kids and grandkids to see this. You're pissing off the wrong generation, Disney. You might want to stop it. Well, we had gone to the well of Woody so much, Stanton said, echoing earlier remarks that Woody was not even in the first draft of the script. Yikes. It just felt like he needs a break. Let him rest, Stanton added, that Woody will still have stuff, but it won't be such high stakes. Let me just mention this. If you want to bring some relevance to some characters, you should probably do a better job of it. as you can see here in a video piece that you can find on the story, which I would encourage reading because Trevor writes so well. Shifting the conversation to Jessie, the director suggested that the character deserved more attention in the last Toy Story film. She was so ready to be the next leader of the toys in the room, and so it was always on my mind from the minute I got brought on with Toy Story 4. I made sure we passed the badge on it so it was official. So this was all part of the plan. This is not something that necessarily the fans are going to be super excited about. Toy Story 4 wasn't such the big winner that it was expected to be. And somewhere in and towards the end of Toy Story 3, they seem to have lost what made this special. Now it's completely gone if this is the direction they've elected to go. We've got to have a strong whammon leader, right? We have to destroy what was there before in order to bring about something else that definitely isn't going to alienate the boys in the audience who are primarily served by the previous property. Is Disney doing this again? Yes, of course they are. So Stanton framed the decision as a natural reflection of life, as people often find themselves in new positions of leadership. However, the idea that shifting the focus of Toy Story 5 to Jessie was set up by the last film may not matter to some fans. Certainly doesn't matter to me, and this film is not going to get my money. If you're looking for a review on this one in the future, unless somebody comes through with some heavy super chat backing, I don't think I'll ever see this film. I will avoid it. I think 4 was one of the worst mistakes that was made, and I think that 3 was the best place to stop. The problem is Disney doesn't have anything else. They have no new ideas, as you saw with Hoppers, and they certainly can't deliver on what Pixar promised as quality entertainment. That's all gone. Don't anticipate a return. Many of the online reactions to Jessie receiving more attention in Toy Story 5 have been positive. Really? However, Stan's comments have received some pushback. Some fans feel that Buzz and Woody are the heart of the franchise, which they are, arguing that the shift in focus is ideologically motivated. Well, of course it is. Pixar is completely abandoning Woody and Buzz just to push a moderate agenda, one that doesn't make money. We've seen this story before, just not in Toy Story, and it's about to repeat itself again. I would like to point the fingers at Rey and just how far that drove Star Wars down the toilet, but it had help on the way down through witchcraft and ideology. And Toy Story has always been about the pair of friends, and they're unlikely friends, the spaceman and the cowboy, but that's what made it work, just like the droids are the center of the story in the Star Wars films from 1 through 9. And it had to be that way, as they were the participation of the audience. They were the through line. Woody and Buzz are the through line. Unbelievable. Pixar is completely abandoning Woody and Buzz just to push a modern agenda. Toy Story has always been about them. First Lightyear, now this. They never learn. This is from Godstein. Not sure who that is, but, that's a tweet. And notably, while Tim Allen and Tom Hanks' characters have featured prominently in all the trailers and the teasers and everything we've seen so far, many of the jokes have come at Woody's expense, which I didn't think was really good. The paint has worn off the back of his head, giving him a bald spot, and his stuffing is also shifted, giving him a gut, which they could easily solve the problem of. Some of the other toys find this out, with the antagonist asking Woody if he is some sort of old man toy, taking a shot at the generation that, lifted this platform, this IP, to the highest of heights. I don't have a positive feeling here. If you do, let me know right now in the comments below. But another legacy franchise debate. Taken together, Stanton's comments about Jessie and the jokes about Woody's age suggest that Toy Story 5 may be following a recent pattern. For some viewers, Woody appears positioned to follow the same trajectory as Han Solo in The Force Awakens and Indiana Jones in the Dial of Dysentery. Legacy heroes who are diminished by age and ultimately give way to younger women. And you know what? That just doesn't sell. The argument doesn't sell. The story doesn't sell. The audience doesn't buy it. It gets bad word of mouth and therefore doesn't make nearly as much money as it could have had they stuck to the strategy. And make no mistake, I'm not saying at this point in time that this film is going to fail or flop. I'm just going to say it's going to have left a lot of money on the table. And if they announce a Toy Story 6, I'm not sure that's going to be received with the fanfare that they expect. But hey, I could be wrong, and I want to know what you think. So let me know your comments down below, and we'll have a discussion about whether or not Toy Story 5 is going to be overwhelmingly successful or somewhat disappointing. I'd like to know where you stand on that. You know where I stand. And on that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Just not going to see Toy Story 5.